Welcome back, Zach and Cody here. We just got done with the bow build for my bow, so now we've got Cody. His bow came in a couple months early, so we're going to go through and do a bow build for you. All right, Cody, so your bow came in actually
a couple months early.
We're
surprised. It's supposed to be here in September, but so, I don't know how they managed that at PSE, so whoever did that, appreciate it.
Yeah, I think they put in a good word for you.
That works.
We've sold enough PSEs, I think.
We're like we're close. We're very close to cracking the top 20 in the world, so for PSE.
Yeah, we're doing good with it. So Lance, keep just sending the bows, and
we'll keep moving. Yeah.
So what do we got? So bow of the year.
Bow of the year.
The Levitate.
I called this from the get-go.
You did.
Whenever all these bows were coming out, it just came down to me for efficiency. This in the RX-7, the Hoyt RX-7, they're so efficient. I mean, at each draw level with their the 2 mod and the 3 mod, depending on where you're at in that, it's like at 28 inches where I would be, on the RX-7, it's pumping.
Right.
What's crazy to me is this, I feel like 80 pounds draws a touch smoother with the bigger cam, the E2 cam on here at 28. I'm still getting a little bit better numbers with this cam, so that's kind of why I like the Levitate so much.
So Levitate. So before we jump right into it, let's go over the specs of actually what you are shooting. Yep. So for you as when you set this bow up, what are we looking at? How many pounds are you drawing? What's your draw length? What cam are you running?
So we're going to start with the cam and work all the way down. I'm running the E2 cam. I don't mind the S2 cam, but it is a lot more aggressive than what I'm wanting to do. To have under a stressful situation. Of course, you'd be able to pull it back because of adrenaline, but if I'm just wanting to go outside and fling some arrows, a couple dozen arrows, S2 cam at 70 feels rougher than the E2 cam at 80 to me. Wow. So, and it dumps a lot harder in the back one. I hate that. I'd rather have a more fluid, a little bit. We like to use that term smooth so much. Yep. I think smooth, it doesn't stack linearly as much. It's more of a nice little curve instead of something that just peaks and drops down. Yeah, so, in the terms of smooth and efficient, that's why I opted for the E2. I'm drawing it actually a touch long though. It's like my draw length's truly 27 3/4. So I've got it set at 28 and I've got it actually running on 85% let off. This is my first 80 pounder, so I've had bows that I've had at 70. Twisting cables get them up to 75, 76 pounds, but I kind of wanted to keep this one more in tune or more around spec per se instead of playing with cable lengths and stuff. So I'm opting it at 85%. I will transition into an 80%. With the adjustable let-off system that they have here. So I like the decent holding weight around that, that 14, 15, 16 pounds for a hunting bow. And being as smooth as it is, I mean, it's kind of a hard choice, to beat. And being as 32 inches and a quarter axle to axle, it fits a nice billet for my draw length. Yeah. So, and the other plus is it's light as can be, and I can run as much weight on a bar as I want to and, keep it down. Right.
And whenever you came in as far as building a bow for this year, what goals did you have?
I wanted something, so I've shot Hoyts forever, and I love Hoyts, man. Hoyts pound, they shoot so well. And I wanted to give PSE another chance. Yeah. I had an X-Force way back in the day, and I hated it. And I think PSE kind of corrected themselves from those X-Force years to that model cam they had, that nasty I think it was called a full throttle cam at the time. You just couldn't keep them in time. I mean, that was my big problem with them, and they were just nasty, and they stacked too mean. I mean, through the draw cycle, they dumped, and they put out great speeds. It was a very quick bow, but it was not a fun shooting bow whatsoever. Right. This kind of gave me the enjoyment of shooting a PSE again. And it kind of started last year with the Mach 1 and the year prior with the NTN and stuff like that. I was kind of, getting in touch with those evolved cam systems, and now being that they came out with something a little bit, like a turbo, it feels like a Hoyt turbo in a sense, not as aggressive. I've shot a Hoyt RX-1 turbo for a while. Shot a Hoyt Helix the last couple of years.
You still got a Helix.
I still have it, and I love that, but I'll probably never get rid of it because I mean, when we talk about in terms of smooth, that bow is probably the smoothest bow I've ever owned.
It is. I mean, it's at 74 pounds.
74 pounds.
It draws like a.
I can literally that will be my volume bow is what I'll call it.
Right.
So I can shoot that bow day in day out, and just if I'm say we're big into the gym. So if I've got heavy presses one day, I'm not going to be wanting to shoot an 80-pound bow. Yeah. I can go and shoot my Hoyt and have fun with it.
And I can attest for that. That is probably the smoothest bow that I've drawn. Is Indeed. Cody's? It's a Helix Ultra.
It's smooth, but the downside of it, it's not putting up the numbers that I like.
Right.
I mean, if I can light my arrow up and I could buy 80-pound limbs for it, but then it kind of defeats the purpose of it in a sense. So what I'm getting out of this bow right now, we'll walk into my arrow setup. I'm running a Easton 4mm Axis match grade shaft, and I opted for the 95 grain stainless steel insert that Easton makes for it. The reason why I went with this insert, I think it's just more stout than aluminum. So if I hit something a little bit harder, I don't want something to crumble at the front of my arrow.
Right.
You know, I'd rather have a little bit more durability in the sense. I'm running a 100 grain head. I might play around with this to a 125, do some chopping on the shaft. The reason why I'm running a 300 at 80 pounds is because I've got a shorter draw length.
Yep.
So these are cut at 27.5, and they tune money. Like we got this bow tuned just off a stock string. I just wanted to see how it would react and everything, whether I needed to use the precision bus tuning systems that PSE have or not. But I called up Gas, and I was like, surprise me with a cool set of strings. Like, pick them out whatever colors you want. Here's my bow colors. You know, what you're seeing right now with the OD green limbs, the charcoal riser. I was like, just make it look what you think would look good. And they sent me some flow green cables, and the string is actually unique. It's an autumn colored string, so it's a tri-blend between like an orange, a camo, and a green. And then they did a gray. They did the other half of the strands in gray. So it's going to look really sick, I think. For right now, we're going to be running the Hamskea Hybrid Hunter Pro just in the matching colors of riser. Yep. We will be putting an Epsilon on this thing sooner. When we got some in, but man, we sell them so fast I can't justify buying one right now. Yeah, I can't. I don't want to take away from the business right now. We have a Spot Hog Fast Eddy triple stack on here. I do have a Redline 3-pin coming in. I might put on that just to see. You know, that one might go on my Hoyt actually. Right. I want a little bit more weight on this bow. Like I said, the downside of it being so light as it is, when you do shoot it in the wind, you will float with this thing.
Oh yeah, that's one of the,
especially a crosswind, you're doing like this with it. If you have a head on or a tail on wind, you're going to be fine. But if, you know, being that I have to weigh this bow down just a little bit more, I can still keep this bow around 5.5 pounds. Versus my Helix Ultra is 9 pounds.
Which is ridiculous.
When I weighed it down with everything I want. And I mean, it holds wonderful. It holds and shoots so well. And there's also an 80-pound RX-7 I'm kind of tempted to play around with this year. So that might be another bow build in the future we might do.
Right.
But as far as with the specs and everything, the perfect axle length, what I wanted, right around that 32-inch. We've still got a 6-inch brace height. And it's just putting up stupid numbers, like I said.
What's the overall weight of this arrow that you're shooting?
This arrow is 480 grains with a 2.25 full-fledged tack vane. I've got some other configurations I'm running. I've got a PM 2.3 vane from AE. It's a little bit longer. It's a little bit lower profile, and I think it's a tad bit lighter. So we're going to play with that.
Have you already put this thing through the chronograph yet?
I have.
What speeds are you getting
I'm
with
seeing,
this arrow? So 28 inches.
28-inch draw length at 85% let off.
At 80 pounds.
At 80 pounds. It's pulling right now, it's actually pulling 78. From the factory, it came in 78 pounds. We're seeing with this arrow, it's shooting like 292. So that's the average. I've seen the high of 294. I've seen the low of 290. So 290 to 294 is what we're seeing at.
So it's moving.
It is booking. That's the fastest, one of the fastest bows I've ever owned with a 480 grain shaft. So, but I'm excited to put this thing together, man. See what it can do, and you know, get it to tune up like it should. And for tuning this bow, man, most manufacturers have the spec of a center shot of 13/16. Some bows tune out really well for me that way. I run mine through the limb bolt. I don't know why. I guess it's the engineer mind.
We've always had good luck with that.
I've always had good luck with it, and that's either running a fletched arrow or a bare shaft through paper. And I think it's just the way my hand likes to be in a bow. And you don't torque them by any means, but other than that, I mean, I'm ready to, let's get this thing built.
So what we're going to go ahead and do now, we're going to break this down. We're going to put new strings on it.
Yep.
We're going to tune it, time it. We're going to...
I'm going to show you how we set up a bow here.
So we're going to do the full setup process for you for Cody's personal build.
Yep.
So cool. Let's
get
into
it.
Yep.
All right, guys. So we're using the Specialty Pro Press right here. We're going to get it set up. Anyone that shops here at Extreme, I'm sorry you cannot get this combination. This is particularly strictly for me. So can't custom order any OD green charcoal risers. You can do any other color, but this will be mine. I will say the only thing that's aggravating about stringing this bow up from the one I done earlier today is the PBTS system, the precision bus tune deal they've got. It's kind of a great concept, but it is a pain in the butt to sometimes string. So we're going to go ahead and take my rat's nest lock I got out of here for my Hamskea. And for someone that asks, why do you have so much more D-loop right here? That is because if I ever have an issue of where I have a release cutting D-loop, I have some extra to cut off of right there. These little things come in handy for these bows. So I'll get inside here, kind of just tug on it, pull it out, go on the opposite side, tug it, pull it out, boom. this is the only annoying part, is putting these guys back in. Got that right there. I'm gonna actually stick this guy down in here. That way I have some kind of tension on it to keep from messing with it. This is the bottom. Alright. These strings really don't have too much wax on them. I really like that gas does that. They allow you to put whatever you want on there essentially. So we're just going to rub just a little bit on these yokes. Give them some kind of conditioning, that way they can kind of stay. Alright, we finally got those guys on, and I'm just trying to match the amount of twist I have in them. Just kind of eyeballing stuff. Alright. Yeah, those look pretty good. Those look solid. Give this guy just a little twist. I like how they did that clear serving on this. You can kind of see on that. Oh, always check. See what I did right there? Make sure these little guys are good and tucked in there. All of our eyelets are on our correct positions. Here's a little tip I learned from a friend of mine. You're kind of going to guesstimate where you have, you know, your center serving and all that stuff at for your rest. We're going to go ahead and move this piece to about where our peep would be. Right in that area. And I think I need to move mine. Yeah, I probably need to move mine honestly a touch higher than I've had it. Alright, I've got a decent amount of twist in each of these. Alright, now let's see. Let it down real slow, making sure all of our stuff is still good to go. Okay, everything looks good. Dang man, that looked fresh. Alright guys, so you can see right here, you see that little dot, that's a timing dot. And if you notice on the other side, we're very close to that. So now I'm just going to kind of check this lean real quick. On the Levitates, there's supposed to be a little bit, not a whole heck of a lot. Everything looks good. Now this doesn't mean that they are dead on in time or in sync. We'll check that on the drawboard after we get our D-loop on, and we want to make sure our poundage is good to go again. Like I said, I might just go ahead and put it at 80, put a few twists in it, and really get it hot. But alright, so now we're just going to make sure we have the bow level to a degree, because running this thing through paper will really tell us what we're looking for and looking at. Alright, so we got everything money right there. I'm going to run with a flow yellow D-loop. I always like to do my D-loop a little bit offset color-wise. I'm going to do some flow orange knock sets, and I tie mine a little bit differently than what most people do. I see this more done on recurves, but I like it, so that's what we're going to work with. Stick the end into the portal. can see how good those stacks look. Just gonna put this, get it close to level. Gonna rise. So now I can take these ends and I can actually twist them up. That's why I'm a big fan of that. And we can micro adjust our center shot like this. Keep going down with it just a touch. There we go. Perfect. Tighten this out. My flame goes up, so keep it up. Let's see if I can work it around. 1, 2. And I like to leave a little bit of a gap right here, as you can see. I want this little bit right here for any kind of knock pinch. Now our D-loop flow yellow, because it's easy to see, it's a different color, and I think flow yellow goes with anything.
You guys don't have those.
And it's Crispy's color, that's why. JK. We're not going to piggyback off anybody, but I think the yellow looks sick.
Throw the rest on there real quick, and then go back and put it
Everyone should drop a comment
in the cable here.
in the comment section on what this bow's name should be. I don't know what I should call this thing. I thought about calling it Master Chief. It kind of looked like a Halo character. I thought that was one comment I saw on a Facebook page or a post on a page I'm a part of, but
This is crazy.
I don't know what to call this thing.
Everything I'm doing right now is just crazy.
Don't want any corny names either, like Tack Driver or anything like that. So gotta think of something cool. So I like to go ahead and get my ball. Start my double end over, pull the slack out. Get that perfect. I'm gonna move this down just a touch right there. And I like my D-loop about 3/4 of an inch, so you can see how I get that. Now we're burning it all down. Perfect. Alright. Now we're going to go to the back. We're going to get it in time. I'm going to run this thing through the paper. It should be very close. So what we're looking for when we put it in the draw board is we want this draw stop and that draw stop to hit at the same time. We're also going to be checking poundage to make sure we're within spec. And I always kind of like to grab like a ruler or something like that to kind of see where we're at. So 32 1/4, we're like right, we're literally right there. Brace height, we're on the money. It's in spec. That's good. That means he has built a phenomenal string just like they always do. Alright. Now let's see what we're getting. Oh yeah, buddy. 80 on the dot. And now what I'm doing right here is I'm kind of looking at the cam lane in this bow. I know what it was with the stock string. Alright, so you see right here we actually have a little bit, this guy is touching a little bit faster. And again, I'm kind of just looking at the cam lane, making sure. Yeah, that looks perfect, just like PSE recommends. Alright, so what we're going to do now, there's two ways to fix the timing on the bow. So if we see the top cams hitting fast, you can play with your yokes for your micro adjustment. So think of your little strings right here, that's little movements. If you got your big cable, that's going to be big movements. So I could twist this guy up a half a turn and it would probably fix it. Or I could go and follow the same string up with these guys and do probably half a turn in each of them and still get the same results, or a full turn. We're gonna start with this guy. I don't mind if my top cam is hitting a touch fast. I just don't want my bottom cam. Typically for me, my bows have always tuned top cam a smidge faster, dead even. I mean, that's pretty much across every brand I've ever shot. So we're gonna give this a whirl. I'm stoked this thing is hitting dead on at 80. Twist, half twist. That's probably gonna do it. All right. And in theory, this should hit like 70 point or 80 point something. Okay. And another thing I'm looking for is if my cables are going to hit my draw stop post, which I don't see them doing that. So I'm hitting right around the same. Yep, I'm just about perfect. So I'm going to leave it right there. What's the holding weight? 15.8 pounds. That's legit. That's right where I want to be, right around that 15 to 16 pound mark. All right. We're going to do one more thing. We're going to get the peep. All right, one more time in the press we go. Hopefully, this is all we have to do. And get this thing running through zip paper eye. Money. Alright, so I'm a big fan of leaving a tag in like this on the top of my string as opposed to taking it out. And that way, if I ever have a peep sight that falls out, I can pull it back down and, you know, kind of get it to where I need it to be again. Alright, and I'm going to give you a little tip. So I tied that D-loop right there, and you see how my peep is pretty good. It's pretty straight. This is based off of what it was in my string the last time. So if I grab my old string and line the D-loop up with it, my peep sight should be very close. So you can see that little bit of a mess right there, that cut serving. So I'm actually going to move this down just a touch. And I know the string isn't, in theory, stretched out to the poundage it was, but it's going to be very close, right in this area. Probably going to leave it right about there. Alright, now what I'm going to do is we're going to go back up front. I'm going to tie a new D-loop on there. This is probably going to be money as far as straighten out. We're going to run back here, shoot it through paper real quick, and it should tune perfectly. Alright guys, here we are. Everything looks good once more. Let's run it through here. Oh yeah. Wasn't my best shot. I could shoot another one. So I might have to bring our rest down just a touch. Might be resting just a little bit high. Alright. Let's move it down just a little bit. So now we're getting just a little bit, as you can see, a little bit knock left. So we got to twist this right yoke up just a touch. Yep. All right. So we're gonna go in here. We're gonna fix this thing. Alright, so how you fix this? You can move your rest in. I don't want to move my rest in when my center shot is set. I don't touch it anymore. I like to split it through the limb bolt. Typically it's right around that 13/16 mark. So we got a knock left tear. Typically you would move the rest to the right. What we're going to do is actually twist the left yoke and take twist out of the right on each side real quick. That should fix this problem. We're just going to do one on each side and take one out on each side. And we should be good to go. on that. Okay. Straighten this out. We're going to take a twist out. So we're going to go this way. We're going to do a half twist. I think a half twist is going to do it good. Alright, we finally, after many bouts of getting this PBS or PBTS system going, we finally got it. We're going to check our timing once more, just to make sure everything is good. And then gotta make sure these guys are tight. Timing still should be money. Still at 80. That's what we want. Just want to make sure we're not hitting any draw stops where. Okay. Timing is golden. Cams are looking almost identical to what I have on the stock string. Check the holding weight one more time just to make sure we're in that same 15.5 is what I believe it says. Perfect. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right, guys. There's our final result. You can see that's from our shot prior, and that's prior as well. Other than that, that looks good. So we're going to call it good for right there. We'll probably do some group tuning at longer distances, around that 40, 50, 60-yard mark, and see how everything's tuning up from there. But other than that, we'll go back up front and recap this thing and be ready to roll. Now we're in the game. All right, now we got the lights on. Turn on the lights.
Yeah, that's fine. Drop it off or bring it back.
Whoa!
So right now we're going to shrink our
$2.99. Put some gas in your stream, man. Put some gas on. Add some fuel to your success is what they say. That's 5 feet a second faster than what we saw on the stock string. Give or take, we did add a pound to it. It's floating right around that 79.8 pounds, so 80 pounds. But prior stock string was 78.2 or 78.3. But that's a legitimate number. This is going to be the bomber bow along with that Venom 33 we got Zach's built. So,
all right, guys. Hope you can appreciate my camera skills.
Got a good cameraman. Joey's finally back in town. So.
Yeah, so that's the last time you will see me behind the camera for at least a little while. Joey will be back in here shooting our videos. But yeah, that video took a little longer than we anticipated, like it always does. But bow tuned great.
Yep. Bow tuned well. A little bit had to play around with these guys, which I can understand. But sometimes 99% of the time from the factory, they already know the amount of twist they need to put into them. This right here, we just kind of did some tinkering with, got it shooting perfect. Like I said, we'll probably group tune this thing later, 40, 50, 60.
Probably both of them together, actually.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, we'll do. Yeah, well yours is shooting real good. What'd you shoot yours at? 120.
120 yards.
Yeah,
that
buddy.
Venom Pro
Stroking.
33 is stroking. 120 yards, and it's.
But I'm very pleased with this right now. 299 feet a second at 28 inches, right at the cusp of 80 pounds with a 480 grain arrow. I mean, at my draw length, that's cruising, Jack. That's moving.
It absolutely is. Impressive bow. I mean, even Ruben just shot it.
Yeah,
absolutely
Ruben
fell in love with it.
Yeah. Ruben, he's got a Venom as well. Venom Pro.
He does,
33,
yeah.
yep.
We've had a lot of Levitates go out this year too. I mean, it's been one of our more popular selling bows. Obviously, we can't keep them on the shelf.
Yeah, we can't keep any on the shelf. Bow of the year, I caught it from the start. I figured it would be just based on the specs and shooting it. It feels very like there's a little bit of vibration on a bare bow. But when you start adding these things to it and putting a decent arrow weight through it, it gets rid of it completely. It's kind of like I like the analogy of you've got a fire and you dump a 5-gallon bucket of water on it. That's exactly what your accessories do to it. So.
Absolutely. And another thing too, I just wanted to make note of again is the gas strings. You know, we went from the stock strings $295.
Yeah, we should have took a
$294?
video of it prior. We probably should have done that. But the low end of what I saw was like 290 for one shot. The median was 292, 293, and we saw one high of 294. Shooting this,
So the wait time right now.
we'll probably shoot some more, but 299 is what we saw first shot, so that's good.
Yeah.
And if that's on the low end, that's crazy.
Right.
I mean, if it's pushing up 300 at my draw length at
As
80,
soon as we get him in there,
that
we'll
thing's
put him on
money.
there.
The
He'll give
mean
you a
machine,
call,
man.
stuff
other than
like
that, I appreciate
and
Gas
get
for
him
building the
on
strings.
bow
Thanks to
there.
whoever at PSE got this thing here as fast as they did. I don't know who did that.
It's coming
But
in. We'll get
other than
the
that, I was very
circle,
surprised when it showed up.
and then do the pew put back
And I just
in,
knew we had to do a bow
level
build
right
video
now.
on it. So this is going to be a bomber bow. Might run this for Extreme Hunter Athlete as well. We'll see how that goes. And if we ever go out west this year, this will be out west bow as
We'll
well.
see if we ever make it out there, if we can get away from the shop. But drop a comment, let us know what you think. If you guys are shooting a Levitate, if you're interested in Levitate, or any other bow builds you'd like to see, we definitely want to hear back from you guys. Also, as always, make sure you're following our social media. We've got Extreme Hunter Athlete coming up June 11th, which is going to be a good event. We're actually giving away a Hoyt bow. We're giving away a ton of product. Ultra View's on board. We're
Yes,
giving away an
Ultra
Ultra
View.
View scope.
And a release. Thank you, Colby and Team Ultra View, for that. We're gracious for anyone, all the companies, all the sponsors for this event.
So, got to be some good prizes we're giving away. So make sure you follow it, Extreme Hunter Athletes, Instagram, Facebook, and head over to extremeoutfitters.com. You can get all this stuff there, aside from the bows. Order directly from the website and have it shipped directly to you. So, see you in the next video.